5 minus 3. It's a really hard question. Does anyone know the answer?
2.
2. Good. Okay. I'm glad you got that. But now, what if we switch it around? What if we do 3 minus 5? Does this look like something you guys have ever seen before?
No.
Can't do that.
Okay. So Jasmine and Anthony said you can't do that. But I'll let you know a secret. You actually can. And we're going to find out today. We're getting into something called negative numbers. And what it turns out is that there's the numbers that we normally use, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And those are they bigger or smaller than 0?
Bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah, bigger. But it turns out that there's numbers that are actually smaller than 0. Numbers. Okay? Who wants to come up and show me where you put 2 on the number line? Anyone? Kelsey? Come on up. Okay, what do you guys think? Does that look good, or? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So we have 1, 2. 2 is bigger or smaller than 1?
Bigger.
Good. Okay. But now, look at all these marks below it. What are we going to put there? Let's say I give you -1. Does anyone want to guess where you put -1 on the number line?
Below 0.
Below 0. Where would you put it? Would you put it down here? Why don't you just come up and draw it on the board? What do you guys think? Raise your hand if you think that Anthony got it right. Yeah? You guys are right. -1 is a negative number, and it's below 0. And it's the same distance that 1 is from 0 to, but just in the opposite direction. So let's take a little story here. Let's say that Jasmine is eating lunch, and she goes outside and looks at the thermometer. And it's the middle of December, and it's freezing, and she sees that it's 3 degrees outside. Okay? So let's say 3, we can add that in on our line here. Let's put a dot at 3. Follow along, put a dot on 3 on your lines. And then she goes, she's hanging out for the rest of the day. She comes at night, and the weatherman says it's -2 degrees. Okay? So where would the -2 go?
Underneath -1.
Underneath -1, right. So, is -2 colder or warmer than 3, than it was in the afternoon?
Colder.
Colder, yeah. On this number line, the numbers that are lower down are lower numbers. And when we're talking about temperature, that's colder. So -2 is colder. But now, what if her mom asks, how many degrees colder was it? How are we going to find that out? Well, what we're going to do is we can count the number of marks that we had to go down. So follow along with your pencils, and what we're going to go is we're going to count each line as 1 degree colder. So we're going to go 1, 2, count with me, 2, 3, 4, 5, and look, we're at the -2. So how many degrees colder did it get?
5.
5, yeah. It got minus, because we're going down, -5 degrees. So now let's figure out how she goes outside and looks. She wakes up, and the weatherman says, it's 4 degrees colder, or 4 degrees warmer, sorry, now than it was last night. Does anyone want to come up here and show me kind of what that would look like on a number line? Someone want to give it a try? Kelsey, why don't you try? Come on. Okay, so where were we last night?
-2.
Yeah, -2. And how much did it get colder or warmer, Anthony?
4 degrees.
4 degrees. Okay. So what do you think we're going to do?
1,
Yeah? We're going up. We're getting warmer, right?
3,
Yeah?
4, 2.
So where do we end up?
2.
2 degrees. Okay. So that's it. We started off. Where did we start off, Jasmine?
-2.
Yeah. So write this down. -2. We start off at -2, and we went up or down? Warmer or cold?
Up.
Yeah. So plus, how many degrees?
4.
4. Good. And where are we now? Let's put our equals and just look at the number line.
2.
2. Good. Okay. But now it's going to get tricky. Here we can just count on a number line, right? That's pretty easy. But what if, say, I give you 750,000 minus 9 million? Step number 1, we're going to take the big number, minus the small number. Okay? And the second step I'll give it to you now, and then I'll show you with our problem. The second step is going to be to look at the sign of the big number. So let's write that down so you guys can look at this when you're doing your homework. of the big number. Okay, let's look at how that works.
5.
So, yeah, that's 5. Okay, so let's look at a rule. Number 1. We're going to take 5, the big number, and what are we going to do? Kelsey, do you have a guess? Can you help me figure this out? Because we want to take the small number away, minus the small number.
Minus 3.
Yeah. So we're going to go 5 minus 3, and I hope you guys can get this. What is 5 minus 3?
2.
Yep. 5 minus 3, 2. Okay. So we're halfway there already. Now, the next step, Jasmine, you want to read me the next step?
Look at the sign of the big number.
Okay. So we go back to our original question, our original equation that we're trying to figure out. And which one's the big number, Anthony?
5.
5? Okay. And now what sign do we see in front of it? Is that a positive sign or a negative sign?
Negative.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's just write a negative number down here so we remember that. Okay? And so now all we have to do is put these two parts together. Minus 2, okay. Are we right? Let's go back and look at what we figured out with our number line. Are we right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to have someone, how about 2 of you come up and try. Okay, Kelsey, why don't you walk us through what we did?
Okay, I had 6 minus 7, and
Okay.
on the first step it tells me to do the big number minus the small number.
Okay.
So 7's bigger than 6,
Yeah.
so I did 7 minus 6, which is 1.
Okay, does that sound right, Jasmine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
And then the second step told me to look at the sign of the big number, and 7's my...
Nice job,
2.
Kelsey. Anthony, okay, why don't you explain what you did using the 2 steps that we just learned.
Okay, so big number minus small number. So the bigger number is 4.
Okay.
So I took
1, good. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on that, or does that look, let's see, give me a thumbs up if that seems pretty good, or a middle thumb if you have like some question, or thumbs down if you're having some troubles. You guys are good? Okay,